Morning. Another day at the office for activism. And I will tell you, please do not feel pain for me, because I really don't feel any. All I feel is that we do a vital and important job that we cannot stop doing, because we are protecting our young and our communities. Nothing will stop us, and I am one grain of sand on a very busy beach. And nothing would stop if you move that grain of sand. Also, as this is pretty much a full-time job, and all jobs have a really bad bit, be it the washing up or the paperwork, in 5 years in your company, there has never been a bad bit. This is a bit dodgy. I'll admit that this is maybe a slightly less good bit, and I'm not looking forward to it. Of course I'm not. However, you look at what we gained. And I had to write something for If I Go Inside for Cheryl to read afterwards for me. And I won't preempt it because it's still waiting to be released. It's not going to happen. But the one thing I did say in there that I'd want to say now is let's take this with thanks. Thank you, Quadrilla, for showing who you really are in our community. Because buying some rugby shirts and sponsoring our In Bloom competitions is really not going to cut it for fracking. That just really isn't quite good enough. I don't think they understand very well how this works. I would also want to say thank you, Quadrilla, for the amazing network that grew as a result of their action against me. But really, I have to admit that before you guys came, I really only had probably about 30 friends in my life. And today there are people singing in New Zealand this morning. Josh Fox will be in Canada with a live message later. Even Mark Ruffalo ended up sending a message last night. Standing Rock and the Navajo women of Las Vegas too have sent their messages of solidarity. I managed to get friends across the world because of Quadrilla. Thank you, Quadrilla. And besides, and you know Emma Thompson's on our side too, and I thought, you know what, even if you don't understand about fracking yet, and you were going to choose which team you wanted to hang out with, we've got Nanny McPhee and the Hulk. Yeah, really, I mean, it's pretty obvious, really. They've got the government, Theresa May, and Sajid Javid. Our side is so much prettier. And look at us, you know, and I watched people work together to bring, you know, I didn't do anything at all. Everyone did stuff that made today happen. You know, Cheryl has been rushed off her poor little feet, and Claire Stevo has taken on all of the media, and Mel has worked tirelessly behind the scenes to make things happen. And there are countless people this morning who contacted me from what they call back rooms of Greenpeace, Green Party, Reclaim the Power, all sorts of places, who are working in the back rooms throughout today to make sure that this is not kept silent. And even if we don't get as much mainstream media as we would maybe hope for, I don't care. Because I think another thing we have to thank Quadrilla for is the advance of independent media and people like Ruth Hayhurst and Claire Stevo and Dairy and other publications. And to John Hobson's Refraction as well. Some amazing stuff and amazing investigative journalism done online that you can trust, that is honest and true, because it's done without bias and without influence, and with no pension pot that's invested in the energy sector. So there are too many people to thank, and my sister's trying to remind me who to thank. By the time the list gets to 1,000, the case will have passed and they'll just arrest me anyway. So there's not really much point in doing that. Apparently, Foxy! Where is Foxy? Foxy, who drove this event non-stop each time it looked like it was going to happen. And John at Maple Farm, whose face I can see back there, who made our whole campaign so public with all his signage and endured incredible hardship on behalf of our council and Quadrilla's intimidation of him. But yeah. Okay, last thing now, because I'm not going to keep you long and I have to go in.
Stop. I need you to shout out for our 10 that are going in.
I'll do that. What do you want? Okay, apparently I only want to say thank you.
What do you want? He's a married man now. Put her down, man!
Can the 10 people who are coming inside sort of move to the front? I think you know who you are. But also to the final thing I'm going to say now, because this really matters to me more than anything, is we've watched Standing Rock, and we watched the dark brutality that was laid upon them. And how did they respond? They responded with a prayer circle, with a uniting of tribes that hasn't happened for hundreds of years. They made beautiful things happen. And we need to keep making beautiful things happen. We are peaceful determined people who will allow no harm to come, and therefore we would do no harm. And our responses will not be retaliation like they'd like, because if we retaliated with anger, we'd be in their playground. Our playground is a very beautiful place, and it's a place I feel at home, warm and loved. And I would never want any of us to change as a result of anything that happens today. Thank you.
What are your thoughts today?
My thoughts today are
Tina, what are your thoughts today?
my thoughts are that no matter what happens, I continue to speak my truth, act with honour, and act with causing no harm and doing no wrong. And if justice doesn't come as a result, then that's just life. Can't stop doing what I do. What I do is to protect my young and to alert my community. And I will not engage with this system that allows a corporation to spend huge amounts of money on a legal team that I could never afford, to make an example of me and to make it like punishment. It says at the top of the costs award that costs may never be used as punishment. I offered them £500 settlement. That's all I could afford. They refused that. So now I refuse to continue to engage.
Will you give them details? Will you give them your financial details
No,
today?
I will not engage further with watching people take our legal system and use it as a tool to make a show of me. When they served my papers, they did it 3 times at public events, wearing stab vests. What is the purpose of that? Deliberately to cause other activists to think, oh, I can't do that, I'm scared.
Will
How
you go
dare
to
they?
prison today?
Yes.
Will you go to prison? Are you prepared to go to
I'm
prison?
prepared to do whatever the law tells me to do. I always have. I've always acted lawfully. Even the action we took in 2014 was a civil action to cause a land dispute. These things I have done have been lawful, and I will take whatever the law dictates.
But it's not been lawful.